Welcome to the VMP Inspiring Our Community podcast. Join us as Team VMP explore and ignite your vision and purpose. We will discuss topics such as education, entrepreneurship, politics, sports, and more. And now, here is Team VMP.
Welcome to VMP Inspiring Our Community podcast, where we uplift, inform, and inspire our community. I am Dr. Sharon H. Porter.
And I am Karen McConnell-Jones.
And we are the founders of Vision and Purpose Lifestyle Magazine and your hosts today of VMP Inspiring Our Community podcast.
Yay! So Sharon, I guess this is our time that we do what we normally do. We have to talk about what's going on in the business world and in the education world. Absolutely. But I will start first. Well, what's going in the business world? I'm going to do business sports this time because you know I'm such a big sports head. And now the talk and the buzz in town is about the Washington Redskins. You know, now they are at the point that Schreiber does have to change the name. He's finally committed to changing the name of the Washington Redskins, the Redskin part. And it come from long overdue because he had stated when he first got the team that he would never change the name. But sponsors now, his sponsors are starting to say this needs to be in strong consideration. So now they have narrowed it down to 3 names, drum roll. We just have to wait and see. So you know what, Sharon, that may be a good follow-up in addition of ours in VMP Magazine in the sports report with Lady K. So stay tuned. You may see that in the next edition, October edition.
I love it.
What's going on in the education world, Sharon?
Absolutely. So school districts across the DMV are now planning to see how are we going to come back this fall. Several school districts have already announced that they will come fully online and make a transition slowly through November. So me personally in Prince George's County, we are waiting, but we hear that something is coming down the pike. So we are anxiously awaiting. My thought is that as long as we put safety first, I'm okay with it.
Yes.
We just have to make sure that everyone, not just our students, but everyone is safe.
Yes. This is great. So, you know, I'm too excited to get to our guest of the day, Sharon. So,
I know. Oh, my God. So, Karen, let's introduce her. Go ahead.
Yes. I am so excited. This is a dear friend of mine, and you know I call her my baby sister, and I've been knowing this beautiful lady for a very long time. We have Vangie Williams, and we have yet the candidate to be yet still coming, and it's gonna be in that first district there in Virginia for Congress.
Yes, awesome.
District 1. So Vangie Williams is a good person, a good friend of mine, and I'm so glad to have her on the show today. So Vangie Williams, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So, you know, I guess I would start off with the first question. You know, I'm too excited. We just released the edition that we have you in the magazine. So please, everyone, get your copies because it just released on yesterday. So I am just so excited to have you here and just a continuation from what we did in the magazine today. So today we are at a point when we did the article, you know, everything is always preset. You was running for first district down in Virginia for Congress, and now today, the day after the release, we are here sitting here talking with you, and now we are informed and found out that the primaries is now over in your district. So where do we stand, Ms.
Well, we came up a little short. You know, this was different. This was a mighty different campaign. Back in 2018, I ran, we were 5% short of, you know, beating the incumbent. So, of course, I ran again. And this time we were 2,000 votes short during the primary. And that was, you know, kind of an fortunate thing. You know, being that we had COVID-19, we couldn't knock doors, we couldn't make connections with people who don't have social media, who don't have the internet, who don't have broadband. So it was really difficult. And being that I have a daughter and my mom and myself who are high risk, it wasn't like I could go out and, do the Black Lives Matter protests or any of the social justice protests I normally would have been a part. So it was kind of hard to be out in front of people like I like to be. And Karen, when I get out in front of people, the red jacket is on, and when that red jacket is on, it's like fire. So Rosie is here on my wall, and she's looking at me going, what's going on? Why am I not being worn this year?
Yeah. Yes. And Sharon, if I may have a quick follow-up question before you jump in. And the follow-up question to that is that during that the whole campaign trail this time, you did, let's follow up with that. We did hear you got backlash for not being at some of the protests and everything. And, and like you just stated, so I just want to give you a moment to elaborate on that. You just stated that, you wasn't there because of the COVID and the high risk factor. And I just think, your the viewers and people out there need to know it just wasn't because you just didn't want to, so sometimes, we need not let hear the obvious that's in front of us, and sometimes just to see what's behind the scenes of that. So let me just give you your moment to explain.
We did put out several, posts on social media and even in a couple of interviews explaining that my daughter has a condition called aspergillosis. If you go to my Facebook page, my Twitter page, and you look at the video, she's in the video, and it talks about how she had been in the hospital so many times that, we call it Club Fairfax. Mm-hmm. No child should call a hospital Club Fairfax. Even as far as recent as November, Thanksgiving Day, she was admitted to the hospital, which was 19. That was stay 19. So for me, her health was a priority. Her doctors have made it very clear COVID-19 with her severe respiratory condition would kill her. So it was a decision that was really easy to make, stay home. So we basically have been on lockdown since March 10th. And, being that my job is a job that travels internationally, it affected not only my political career, but my job. And my job was really understanding. But voters, I was really surprised how many women of color made statements as to, well, why can't you be here? Priorities. The problem with our community is that you take a priority and you twist it, and when something comes out of it negatively, you don't take responsibility. So if I would have went to a protest and I would have brought COVID-19 back into my house with me being high risk as well, not just my daughter, not just me, not just my mom, my entire household could have gotten sick. And I felt I would do what I could from here. So while they were out protesting, I was talking to legislators all throughout Virginia and all throughout the country on changing the laws. See, going out to protest is one thing, but taking action to get something done is another. My opponent, he was at all of the protests. But even right now, he can't tell me what he has done to advance our cause. I'm a Black woman. My Black life matters. I don't need to prove it. I'm proving it every day by putting myself out there for the crowd. And I'm looking forward to coming back in 22. Hopefully COVID-19 will be gone.
Or at least under control, yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
And Vangie, you talk about how your district is really hard to be a Democrat. And so I want you to talk a little bit about that, because you also consider yourself as a problem solver. And so how can you solve this issue of running in a place that is known Republican and win the next time you run?
It was just like the first time we ran. One thing that I focused on was people. It wasn't about party. I'm not running to be the Republican congresswoman or the Democratic congresswoman. I'm running to be the people's congresswoman, stopping and listening two problems is what my current congressman doesn't do. Understanding that you just don't run on a single issue. I'm running on the fact that in the northern neck of Virginia, northern neck, middle peninsula of Virginia, we have no jobs. We have no healthcare facilities. We don't have doctors. We don't have dentists. We don't have jobs. We don't have transportation. Add that together and you have a stagnant community. That same community is probably about 70-30 Republican Democrat. They don't want to hear about party. They want to hear about what are you going to do for me? What's in it for me? The Whiffums. We call them the Whiffums. Right. Let me tell you what's in it for them. When I lost this time, and I was telling Karen about this, I cried for 3 days, not because I lost, because I was getting back-to-back phone calls starting at 7 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night from watermen, agriculturists, from people in the community and going, well, who's going to help us now? The fact that majority of the people who were voting for me, who came out to vote for me, had never voted in their lifetimes before 2018. So for me, this district, let me tell you something. This district is humongous. It goes from Prince William County all the way down to James City, which is Williamsburg, right to Williamsburg proper. Goes over to Hanover, and it goes back east. So it's 19 counties in one city, Fredericksburg City, 750,000 people. I can tell you, I've spoken to Republicans and Democrats, and when they meet with me, they meet with Vangie. They're not meeting with a politician. I'm a public servant. I fix things. Let me tell you, going into this election, we had the Invest Initiative. Karen, you remember, I want to take nurses, that's nursing staff, home healthcare nurses, educators, first responders, military men and women, okay? And I want to do what no one has ever done in this country. I want to reward our hometown heroes. That's by giving them a $50,000 tax break. The first $50,000 of their income, tax-free. By closing 2 or 3 of the tax loopholes that corporations take advantage of, put $5,000 in their pockets every year so that they can not work 2 and 3 jobs, so they can afford to buy a home, so that they can afford to live in the community they work in. So I expanded on that, and I looked into the Invest in America initiative. It focused on bringing back agriculture and aquaculture back to our community. Why are we buying food from Ecuador and Nicaragua when we have farms right here in the United States? Why are we getting our soy and corn from other countries when we grow it right here in the first district? Focusing on this, did you know, I got to tell you this, did you know that the first district provides most of the seafood on the East Coast? Oysters, crabs, come on now, crabs. I eat them every weekend. Fish, we have rock, spot, porgies, you name it. That's right here in Virginia, the first district of Virginia, because this is our sea, our coast is on the first, is on the water. Let me tell you what else. By bringing back manufacturing jobs, we build it here, the money stays here. We build up our own country. Let's go and renegotiate the TPP. Why are we getting all of our materials from another country when this country is supposed to be the greatest country on earth? Let's put the jobs back here where we know our people can do it and do it with a quality that we can expect to be great. Transportation, light rail. Making sure we bring light rail transportation and bus systems. Did I mention that the first district, even in Prince William County, majority of this district, I'm going to say 90% of this district has no transportation as far as bus services or train service. So if you don't have a car, how the heck do you get to work?
Mm-hmm.